Imagine listing hundreds of thousands of Pokemon cards on eBay with just one click. Sounds impossible, right? Well, watch this then. We will list now these two cards with just one click. So the first card should be online now. Perfect. The second card is on the way to get listed. eBay will update the card picture within 10 minutes up to 15 minutes automatically. Perfect. My name is Bakary and I built an eBay listing agent on n8n that takes simple scans of your Pokemon cards and turns it into ready to sell eBay listings, complete with the right title, description and even the correct price. No more manual data entry, no more wasting hours researching, just scan, click and list. This workflow will change the way selling Pokemon cards forever. Let me give you a quick overview of the system. The system itself is very simple and lean. Apart from the eBay API integration, it's super straightforward. To get started, you only need a Google account with Drive and Gmail, an OpenAI account, a Scridex account for the Pokemon TCG data and the pricing, and an eBay developer account. Of course, you also need an eBay seller account if you want to sell on eBay. I won't dive into every single account setup in this video because I assume you already have some experience with workflows and n8n. If not, I will post some videos in the description of this video that will help you to set up the accounts. But if there's enough demand, I can definitely create a full step-by-step tutorial, for example how to connect your eBay account via API. Let's also do a cost and time breakdown before we start building the tool together. With one workflow, it takes about 25 seconds to list one card. Listing up to 10 cards takes about 4 minutes. 100 cards around 41 minutes, and for 1000 cards it takes about 6.8 hours. For large batches with 10,000 cards, the system needs roughly 3 days, and for 100,000 cards it's about 29 days. We can increase to 2 workflows and the time will drop about half. And with 5 workflows it's much faster. 100,000 cards can be proceed in just about 6 days. Now, let's have a look on the costs. ChatGPT tokens cost us about 1.2 cents per card, and we also need the Scridex API, which costs us 0.2 cents per request. Altogether, it's about 1.4 cents per card. This leads us to the costs of 14 cents for 10 cards, $14 for 1000 cards, and $1,400 for 100,000 cards. As you can see, our eBay listing tool scales efficiently, faster, with more workflows and predictable costs per card. Perfect for anyone selling large collections or offering a listing service. Now here's the best part. The full workflow template, including all the prompts, is completely free inside my school community. You will find the link in the description below. Join us there, share your own projects with me, and get early access to all my future tools before they are released anywhere else. Alright, let's jump straight into n8n and let's build the tool together. Let's start by creating 4 Google Drive folders. Call them TCG scans, white canvas, TCG done, and condition false. Make the folders publicly accessible so n8n can read from it later. And now jump into n8n and add your first nodes. Start with a trigger and then search for Google Drive and click for Search Files and Folders. Use the rest of the settings exactly as shown on screen. Jump over again to Google Drive and copy the last part of the URL. This part of the URL is the so-called folder ID. Paste this into the query field. Next, add a loop over item node and set the batch size to 1. Then add a downloaded file so we can pull the card scans from the folder we just made. Use the same settings you see here in the video. Now run the workflow once. For that, click on Execute Workflow. And then drag the JSON ID into the 3 field ID fields that needs it. Now the first AI agent comes into play. Add OpenAI, click on Chat Models and select GPT-4o. Important here is to select under Add Options the response format. It has to be JSON. The system prompt is intentionally short. It keeps it minimal and clear. Tight instructions works best with LLMs in my experience. Mine is in German, you can leave it that way or translate it to English later if you need that. What this AI agent does is simply data capture. Card name, card number, the language of the card. It also resolves the English card name on its own, if your scanned cards are not English cards. We'll need the English name for the Pokémon database API. Once the analyst is ready, add the code node to parse the JSON output into individual variables. Don't worry about copying prompts or code from the video. Just grab the JSON template after watching this video and you will have the full workflow with everything included. Time for our first quality check. Add a filter with 2 conditions. One is for the card number and one is for the name. Those 2 are the absolute minimum we need for API request later. Now feed the AI agent's output into the fields and for string choose contains. If you translate your prompt to English later, remember to adjust the field names accordingly. For the Pokémon database, I recommend getting a Scridex account and request the API access. This account is about $29 a month and honestly it's totally worth it. As an alternative, I can recommend PokemonTCG.io. This is completely free, but expect very long response times and occasional errors. Once you have decided which API you want to use, add the HTTP request node and select Get as method. For the endpoint, just copy the one from the video you can see here. We do not need an authentication, but we have to enable the send query parameters. We need exactly 2 values for this. So the first one is Q, please copy the value from the screen, and the second one is include, this one we need for the price. Now enable send headers and add your API key and your Teams ID. You will find both values in your Scridex account. Now run the workflow and check if it works. Nice, our first successful API request. Now map the response with an edit node, so we keep only the variables we actually need. Okay, now story time. I got stuck here for ages, guys. The next AI agent, the visual inspector, can only accept one image at a time. But we need to compare two images. The scan from the Google Drive and the card image from the database. This is our final quality check to confirm the first AI agent picked the right card. So it's very important here. I thought about it so much, I literally dreamed the solution. A white sheet of paper with both images, pasted side by side. So I woke up, sat down on my bed and asked, can I actually build that in n8n? It turns out yes, so back to n8n. Now, create a plain white image with a format 1500 x 1000 pixels in Canva or something and upload it to the Google Drive folder we created earlier and name the file white canvas. Hop back to n8n and add another download the file node. Now select white canvas as file and add both options. Put output file in field and file name. Use white canvas as value for both. Now we need a merge node with two inputs. Select combine, position, and leave 2 for the value. Connect input 1 to the first downloaded file node. This is the card scan. And input 2 to the white canvas downloaded file. Next, add an Edit Image node and select Composite Image. Type in the field property name the file name for the white canvas and run the workflow. Now drag the downloaded file image ID into the other field. For X and Y, the value is 0. That places the image at the top left of this canvas. Add another HTTP request to fetch the large image URL from the Pokémon API results. And use the variable from the API call dataset we created earlier. Select get as method and run the workflow. Now add another composite image node, same as before. Set composite image property to data. The value for X is now 1300, so the second image lands to the right of the first one. If you click the output for a white canvas, you will see both cards side by side now. In my example, it's super clear. The Google Drive scan is the German card on the left, and the Scridex image is the English version on the right. To save tokens and speed things up, I add one more edit image to resize the image and make it smaller. The property name for this is white canvas. The width and the height are 1500 and 1000. The options are maximum area. These settings drops the file size nicely from around 2.1 megabytes down to about 1.24 megabytes. Now we will create a new AI agent and add the GPT-4o module again. This agent checks the combined image we just built, the one where our card scans and the reference image from the Pokémon database sit side by side. Use the system prompt from the video or grab the free template and click on Execute Workflow. On the left, you can see now the image being passed into this agent. Click on white canvas. That's our composite. The output format for this agent is simply true or false. Next, add an if not with two conditions. and drag the AI agent's JSON output into the first field and select is equal to true. The second field is for the price from our API dataset. This has to be greater than 99 cents. The reason for this is that the eBay doesn't allow listings under $1. Now, add a file node from the Google Drive. Connect the true output to it. The settings you can see on the screen. For the false path, add another move a file node and configure it the same way as before, but set parent folder to condition false. Finally, route the output of this node back into the loop over items input, so the workflow keeps running even when the cart fails. Next, we will build an SKU generator for eBay. First, create the new dataset for eBay with an edit field set node. For eBay, we need following fields: title, description, listing description, price, currency, and condition. Now we need to pull the values that we need from the code node and the API dataset and map them into these fields. Please remember that in my setup, some values like description, listing description, currency, and condition are in German terms, so feel free to rename to match your own language and marketplace. Now we will add a code node to generate the SKU. Remember that every SKU must be unique on eBay. I personally built it from the card ID, a random number, and the current timestamp. You can just copy the code I'm using right now from the template you will download after the video. It's time for the eBay part. I kept this to the absolute minimum to keep things simple. Please remember that you will need an eBay developer account for the part now. This will grant you the API access. The approval for the account usually takes up to 2 or 3 days. And second, you need a normal eBay seller account. I will make separate deep dive videos on the eBay API in the future since they are very detailed and very time consuming. For now, let's wire up what we need. We will add an HTTP request node to build an eBay user token refresher. This lets us sign in once and avoid reauthorization every time. And now, for the last part, we need 3 more HTTP requests and then we are done. First, create inventory item, then create offer, and the last HTTP request is to publish the offer. Use the same settings as shown in the video or simply download the free workflow template in my school community. As the final step, connect the output of publish offer back into loop over items. And your automation is ready to go.